Hi everyone, my name is Aline.
And this is Saba.
And this is Off the Mat. Today we're going to talk about the difference between a good instructor and a great one, and what makes a great instructor. I think the first thing we need to touch on is this concept of knowledge. The idea that you always need to be building on your knowledge and never think that you know everything there is to know, because at the end of the day, nobody in this field knows everything that is out there.
It's an ongoing education
It is
field.
100%, and like there's so much to learn. There's so many levels, just in the fitness industry at all, and everyone has such a different style and everyone has such different knowledge that there's always more to learn. And even after decades of practice, there's still some things that you need to get into, things that you need to explore.
For sure. And also, like in your classes, you need to know different injuries, different conditions in order to be able to give the right modifications. So,
No, you're good. Her top is so cute.
I know.
Okay.
And I'm back.
And we're back.
So you need to know different injuries, different conditions. It's so important to know and educate yourself about them. By conditions, I mean pregnancy, postnatal, anything, honestly. To be able, as an instructor, to give the right modifications in group classes, because you can never know and predict who's coming to your classes and who's not.
Oh, good.
Sorry, we had Heal Wellness.
This is not sponsored, but if it were to be sponsored,
if you guys want to sponsor us, here's a
you know where to find us.
Other thing that will help, like aside from the knowledge thing, for your creativity, I also like to attend different classes, not just different Pilates classes, but different fields of like movement, because you never know, you might like something in fitness industry that you can bring it into your Pilates session. You might like something in your Zumba classes that you might bring it into your Pilates session. It helps to create your style.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. Everyone's style is so different nowadays, and there are so many ways to teach that it is so important to just keep exploring, because something might kind of pique your interest and that might be your niche, and people are going to come to your classes because you're a combination of these different things that they like to do. That being said, great segue into my next point, which is take classes that might not be relevant to you. So for example, prenatal, postnatal classes might not be relevant to me, but I really like to take them sometime, because I know a lot of my clientele is women that are prenatal or postnatal. So I, as a great instructor, want to get out there and explore what it is that I can also offer them. And just because I don't teach specifically classes that are pre and postnatal doesn't mean that women that are pregnant or that have just given birth aren't going to come to my classes. So I want to be a great instructor and to be able to offer them the modifications that they need, even if the class isn't specifically catered to their group.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Also, taking a lot of classes helps with your experience, and it doesn't give you the feeling that when you're teaching a class, it's your workout session. You know that you have your workout session scheduled and you are doing it outside of the studio, and feeling that you're like, okay, I'm teaching, so I should be more attentive. I should be walking around, should be watching everyone. I should make sure that everyone has the right form, not to be too much there, not to be annoying, but to be attentive and with consent, being hands-on, and help them to get into that right form that they are attending a group class, in-person class for. Because they can easily just do it at home with YouTube videos, but they decide to come in with an instructor there so she can actually correct them and help them.
Yeah, and that being said too, like read the room and see what people require, even if that means changing your class plan based on what you think people might need or based on like the reactions in the room. It is so important to read the room and be able to understand, like, okay, maybe this is enough. Like maybe I don't need to layer on this exercise because like 3 layers were plenty. Reading the room and looking like, okay, is everyone form okay? Is everyone doing the exercise the way that I'm cueing it? Or it could be like, maybe this isn't difficult enough and I do need to build on. So kind of like tapping into your intuition and like looking what people need in the class is so important.
So important. On that note, I actually hosted a retreat yesterday.
It was fantastic.
Thank you. We had a Pilates session and I was teaching it. It was under the sun. It was
We were
incredible, but
melting,
very, very hot.
boiling.
So I initially planned a full-on hour of Pilates and then going into Shavasana and meditation part. So I read the room and I knew when to stop. I knew when is enough, and now they need to rest. Now they need to stretch. Now they need to just like relax and just breathe. And that is like very, very important.
And also to your point, like I know we talked about this before, but I'm only now realizing that even though you made the class shorter, it didn't mess with the times of anything else. Like everything was very on schedule. So it was just like, don't think that just because something changes in the schedule that you won't have enough or you won't make it on time. Again, like listen to your intuition and go with the flow. But it gave us more time to chit chat and like make connections and network with the ladies instead of just like doing the full hour in the heat. But it didn't mess with the rest of the day. Like it didn't mess with the schedule for the rest of the day. So you always have, and that goes to say too, like when you're enriching your practice and when you're, the more you practice and the more you get familiar with modifications and with variations, the more you can build on a class without feeling like you're gonna end a little too early. I wanted to talk about the class itself. So I think the number one thing that everybody talks about right now is having good music, and I think it is 100% so important. There is nothing that could kill a class more than a bad playlist. And it is like the number one thing that people look for. I think the thing that is most important is having a variety in your playlist. So, yes, having some beats, and yes, having those songs that will drive people forward and that you can work to the beat of. But at the same time, having some songs too that like might not necessarily be the most suitable for your intense workout class, but people are familiar with and can sing along to. An example of that, like I love to add a little bit of like Rihanna and Drake into my playlist because I know, especially
Everyone.
in our area, everybody knows their songs. So I will literally see, and there's no better feeling than seeing a client sing along to the music as they're holding a plank.
I know. Trying to Shazam
No,
it.
literally,
So
like,
I'm like,
okay,
girl,
Sierra, what's this song called?
I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
don't-
You focus
stay
on
in
your
the plank.
breathing.
Stay in that plank, girl. No excuses here.
Claire, drop it. Here
Yeah,
you go.
no, literally. And nobody gets bored of it, especially in movements that are more still and like holds and pulses.
100%.
So important. Have good music, have a variety, something that like everybody can enjoy and not just one type of clientele.
Genre. Yeah. Keep in mind that in our community, in our classes, we have a class with different age groups. The volume, we have to be very, very mindful. Like if it's too much, it could get annoying. Some people might be like sensitive to too loud music, but if it's too low, it's not easy to vibe with.
Yeah.
Like I personally like to put the volume down when I'm cueing a workout, like when I'm first introducing it to the class. Sometimes when I really need them to be very mindful of getting into the form, the volume is a little bit lower so they could focus on my voice rather than the song. And then when they get in the zone, when they start pulsing, the volume goes up and they vibe with the music.
I think it also has to do with the side that you're doing. So for me specifically, the first side that I cue, it's always people are getting used to it. People are trying it out. So the volume is quieter. I cue. I make sure they can hear me. I don't want to also like scream over the music because I feel like that's a little bit like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's a little tacky. Again, to each their own, and everyone has their own style.
Yeah, no,
I
I
don't
get it.
love screaming over the music. There's a difference between like getting the energy
vibe
up and
up.
whatever, and just like plain people can't hear me and like I need to be shouting. So I think like when I start out, one side will always be more quiet, so I'm cueing along and again kind of playing with the volume and cueing, and like it's quieter, and then when I stop talking and I'm just counting, the volume will be higher. But then on the other side, the volume kind of stays high because people already know what to do, and I'm just reinforcing the cues that I just taught on one side. So I think that makes a big difference as well.
100%. Warm up. Since we're in the class.
Our favorite topic to discuss.
Warm up and cool down. Please, please, please take it seriously. And by warm up, I do not mean the temperature of the body. I do mean the important joints, spine and the hips, and everything is very, very, very much important. But please also be aware and pay attention to the wrists, ankles, and knees. because those are the sensitive joints of the body. Very, very, other parts are also sensitive, don't get me wrong. But these are the ones that we always, most instructors might look over. And starting up in a plank, hate me if you want, starting up a class in plank on your wrists, that much pressure is just no, no, red flag.
For sure. And on that same note, last one to leave.
Hello,
how are you?
How are you? I wish the camera was the other way.
I know.
Everyone came in smiling. Is it the vacuumer? No, she opened the door.
Oh.
I was like, did the vacuumer start working all of a sudden? Because it has done
No,
that.
I thought it was the vacuum.
The other day, I was teaching a class and it full on came into the room. And I'm like, who turned you on? This is on my phone. No one else has access to it. I was like, oh my God, creepy.
I think one of the things that really differentiates a good instructor from a great instructor is being organized and being prepared. For example, what I like to do, first of all, I'm always the first one in the class and always the last one to leave the class. That's something that I learned right when I was getting certified.
Shout out Victoria.
Shout out Victoria. Every episode we have a Victoria shout out. So our instructor Victoria said you always need to be the first one to walk in and you always need to be the last one to leave the room. And it makes such a big difference because you actually get to know your clientele. People start to notice that you're not just there to do your job. Like, you're not just there to teach your 50 minutes and leave. You're actually there to make a connection, to make them feel comfortable,
to greet them,
to welcome them, ask them how the class was. It genuinely makes such a big difference when people feel like you actually care about them and not like you're just there to do your job. As for being organized, I think another thing that really takes a good instructor and makes them into a great one is to make sure your clients aren't confused when they're coming in the room. So I come into the studio 15 minutes before the class. I think all the instructors here come in 15 minutes before the class starts. And what I personally do, because the classes are bigger, I will set up my mat right at the front with like my notebook and my water so that people know that's the instructor's mat, along with the equipment that my clients will need for that class, so that as clients come in, they know what equipment they need to grab. When I used to teach in the studios that had smaller classes, I used to set up the equipment for them. So I would roll out the mats and like put all the equipment that everyone is going to need for the day. Because the classes are bigger, I just set up the equipment right at the front of my mat, so as clients are coming in, they know exactly what they need for the class.
Especially because sometimes they like to bring their own mats.
Yeah. So we don't always know like when people are going to want to set up, because especially like we have a big room, so people sometimes like to take the corners even if the class is like half full. They like to take the corners, or they do like to come closer towards the mirror, so everyone kind of chooses their spot, but as they come in, they know exactly what they're going to be using for the class. As I am preparing for the next class, so here we have like 50-minute classes and then 10 minutes between each class. What I like to do, if the next class uses different equipment than the one I just taught, before I go out and I take my bathroom break and I have a sip of water, before all that, I will first switch out all the equipment so that, again, as the clients for the next class are coming in, they already know exactly what they need to use. Rather than if I was going to the bathroom, having a sip of coffee, having a snack, and then going in and again cleaning the room and putting all the stuff around, then the people that came in 10 minutes before the class starts are like confused and they're like, well, I came early, but we're not properly prepared.
Or they have like the wrong props.
Exactly. So, or yeah, like they take the props that I just used for the previous class. So again, just like a very small distinction, but can make such a big difference for a client.
For sure, for sure.
I think the next thing that is really important to touch on is personal attention. I know a lot of the clients that come in are regulars and like people that we've genuinely became so close to, and people that are literally have become our friends. That being said, as a great instructor, you don't want to be giving too much personal attention to your regular clients to the point where it feels like new clients don't belong in the studio. Every regular client was also once a new client. I really understand the whole like giving personal attention and showing the people that come to your classes regularly that you appreciate them. That being said, you still do have new people coming in that want to also feel part of this community, and if you don't give them that feeling, they maybe won't want to come back.
The point of them coming into group classes is to see other people, feel that they belong into a community and they are doing something in a group with like-minded women. So we really want to give that feeling to them. They all need to be feeling the same thing, even though their levels of closeness with you is different, or their levels of fitness is different.
Well, Saba and I were just talking about this before, and she'd asked me, do you think that in my class I give the same kind of personal attention to everyone?
Because I never thought about it. Like before she brought the point up, I was like, I never thought about if I do it or I don't, because it comes naturally. Mm-hmm. But when she said it, I was like, do I?
And the thing that I said was, if I, as an observer, can't tell who is new and who's your regular, then we're all good. If I could tell, like, okay, she comes every single day and this one is a first time client without looking at the schedule, then we've got a bigger problem. Again, we want this to feel like a community. We're not trying to isolate people or exclude anybody. So always giving the same kind of personal attention. And again, like if one of your regular clients wants to stay and chat for a few minutes after the class, that's perfectly fine. But again, make sure you make space for new people as well. Just keep learning and keep enriching your practice.
Keep practicing on your own. Never, I have some.
Oh, okay. I'm sad.
Never.
I'm sad.
Never ever teach something that you personally can't do.
Oh, that's such a good one.
You see a trend on Instagram and like, I'm going to teach that today. Make sure you can do it before actually putting it on lesson plan and coming and telling it to people.
Such a good one. Always try your classes out before you teach them to your clients. 100%. I cannot stress this enough.
Because sometimes it sounds and seems so nice in your head, but like in real life, when you actually do it, you're like, oh no, actually, like this is too much on the wrist. Mm-hmm. So like feel it out.
Also, like you see something on Instagram and you think, this looks so nice, this is so interesting, and I want to teach this and my clients are going to love it. And then you do it for more than 3 reps and you realize, okay, well, I can't even build on this because it's just too much after 3 reps of it. Always try your class plans out before you teach them. Even if it's like a quick, okay, well, what does this feel like? What muscles am I noticing? What like joints am I moving? All that. So beyond important, because a lot of the times when I see something, I'm like, oh, this looks so easy, I could totally teach this. But then when I try it out before the class, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, well, I'm struggling.
Or the feeling your muscles and all that. Mm-hmm. I love that because it also helps you with your cueing.
Oh yeah.
So you already know beforehand in your head, then that when you're cueing, you can actually say the targeted muscles. Mm-hmm. And that itself on its own, when the client is doing an exercise and you mention which muscles it's targeting or where they should feel it, that gives them such a good feeling because they automatically feel that you're knowledgeable, you know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And they will know if they're doing it right or wrong. And if they're not feeling it there, they're feeling it somewhere else, they will talk to you about it. You tell them where they should be feeling it. Because they don't know what's right, what's wrong. And if their form is off, even an inch that you're not witnessing it by your eye with your eyes because you're teaching a full class, then they will actually, a lot of people actually do talk to you and they're like, actually, Saba, I'm feeling it on my other leg.
I was just going to say this, like it happens so often, especially on hands and knees, where we'll be doing something with like leg extension, say like extending the leg out back. So some people, I'll say you should be feeling the glute of the leg that is extending. Like for example, if we're extending the right leg, you should squeeze through that glute. You're feeling the right glute working. And I'll hear a lot of people saying like, oh, well, I actually feel it on my left. Yeah, I feel it in my left glute. And I'll look quickly, like, you know, like do a skim of the room and say, okay, well, you need to tilt a little bit this way or keep your hips parallel or whatever it is. And it makes such a big difference to know which muscles are working on you so that you can actually properly cue it to your clients.
And even if it's a postural thing, I've had a lot of clients who have stayed, like I couldn't tell them why they're feeling it there or why they're not feeling it there. Mm-hmm. And after the class, I just went to them and I explained like, okay, yeah, this is like also because it could be because of your postural pattern, or they were feeling it, a tension. I remember that they were feeling the tension behind the back ribs. And over time, I was like, do you hold your breath while you're doing the exercise? Yeah. And that automatically brought attention to their breathing. And after a couple of sessions, they came to me and they were like, Saba, it's all gone. It was my breathing. So one thing I always tell them, it's like your body's literally talking to you. Her ribs we're screaming at her, telling her that you need to breathe, and you're hurting us by not breathing. So that's why we say, like, listen to your body, all that. Saying where they should feel it and where they should not feel it sometimes, like, you should not be feeling this on your lower back, because on a lot of movement you might be compensating on your lower back. So mentioning that they shouldn't be feeling it, it's not normal to feel it on their lower back, it's also very important.
I feel like cueing is like a whole episode. Like,
Oh,
cueing is just
100%.
like how to
That just gave us an
Yeah,
idea for another episode, so thank you.
proper cueing is just like a whole other
world.
thing. Anyway, trying your classes out and doing them before.
I think that's it for now.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode, and until then,
See you on the mat.
Bye.
Bye.